Welcome back, my friend. How was your practice?
Good, but it left me with some questions, Jesus. Would you mind answering a few of them?
Of course, they'll call me Yeshua. Only my dad and Steve call me Jesus to my face. Everyone else usually bows or cries.
Wait, who is Steve?
A friend of mine at the bar.
Fair enough. So, you had mentioned other styles that can lead to enlightenment?
Absolutely. Last time we had mentioned the contemplative style. Basically a whole lot of sitting. Today we can talk about another path. Specifically the devotional path. Might I add, my personal favorite.
Alright, so tell me about the devotional path.
Well, in some ways. The devotional style is more tricky than the contemplative style. Though might I add, not as tricky as the entheogenic path.
How so, Yeshua?
Well, from my perspective, this path can get tricky. This is because we have to be clear about the nature of devotion. Are we giving our devotion to some anthropomorphic conception of the divine? Or are we coming from the truest depth of who we divinely are? And then coming into devotion with all that is as a manifestation of that divinity?
Wait, these aren't the same thing?
They can be, but often they are not from my perspective. Famous devotees like Rumi, for example, are devotional to the beloved, which in the simplest terms is all manifest creation. The term beloved does not refer to a specific being, but being itself.
Can you give me another example? That didn't land fully with me for some reason.
Well, take another example in the Hindu singer and devotee of Krishna, Mirabai. She often spoke of Krishna as her beloved. But this isn't to be misunderstood as her loving one particular aspect of Vishnu. No, she was actually taking refuge in her own divine indestructible nature, and loving all that arose which she called Krishna.
So to some degree, a person still has to wake up. Isn't that just the contemplative style wearing a different skirt?
I can see how you would make that mistake, but as they say, the devil is in the details. The difference is in the still contemplation of one's own nature versus the loving contemplation of all of God's majesty. The former deals with a strictly subjective perspective of one's nature, while the latter, to use a metaphor, is about walking with God.
So this is the path of realizing one's place with God and in relation to God?
Exactly. So going forward, might I make a suggestion? For the next week, attempt to recognize anything that comes up in your experience as the divine. Try not to deny any emotions or thoughts, but instead deeply validate all of your experience. This goes for our viewers at home as well.
I can do that. Anything else?
Yes, when you return, would you please take this pill? And please do not eat anything.